Hello friends, welcome back to Technique. In this video, we'll be doing the camera review of the new iQOO Neo 10R. Now, iQOO Neo 10R comes with a dual camera setup and also a selfie camera. So let's see how good the camera experience is for this price segment. So with offers, the iQOO Neo 10R is priced around 25,000 rupees, and this comes with a Snapdragon 8s Gen 3. So it's a really good, powerful gaming hardware. But how does it work in terms of camera experience? Let's find out in this camera review. So before going into the video, if this is your first time on this channel, do hit that subscribe button and also hit the bell icon to get notified of all the videos we publish. So let's first have a look at the camera hardware. Now the primary camera is a 50 megapixel Sony sensor, f1.79 aperture. There is also a secondary 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera. Then you get a 32 megapixel f2.45 aperture selfie camera. So it's a very simple camera setup. So let's find out how the camera samples have come in different light conditions. So let's first have a look at the daylight conditions. So in terms of daylight conditions, you can see here there is good amount of details available. The dynamic range looks good. The details and sharpness levels are also pretty good. But one thing what typical of any iQOO or Vivo device is the color saturation. The saturation levels are definitely on the higher side, but for social media the saturation levels won't matter much. But then if you are a person who wants accurate colors, this might not be the best out there. The tones are richer, the colors are a bit saturated, but the details and quality overall looks good for the daylight capture. So most people will definitely love these colors, but if you are more particular about natural colors, this may not be the device to choose. Now when it comes to ultra wide angle camera, the 8 megapixel ultra wide is very decent. Once again, the sharpness levels and details are very much average, I would say. 8 megapixel obviously has its limitations, and the edges are not so sharp, while colors are similar to the primary camera. The overall quality is kind of average, I would say. So that's the ultra wide angle camera samples. Now next, let's move on to the close-up shots. Now here you can see the primary camera does a pretty good job. Once again, the details are good, sharpness levels are also impressive, dynamic range also looks good, but once again the colors are a lot saturated, especially the greens and reds are too saturated. But overall I would say most people will still love the colors on the iQOO Neo 10R. Now let's move on to the portraits. Now this is one area where we like the iQOO Neo 10R. Portraits are definitely good for this price segment. You can see the skin tones are quite good. Once again, colors are not very accurate, but still I would say this is definitely good portraits. Although HD direction could be refined a bit more, but overall I would say the portraits came out pretty good, and the face looks pretty sharp overall in terms of quality. So that was the portrait captures taken with the iQOO Neo 10R. Let's move on to the low light. In indoor artificial light, you can see here there is decent amount of details, but once again you can see here towards the edges noise does creep in. With adequate light you can fix to an extent, but when it comes to extreme low light, you can clearly see that there is definitely noise levels which is pretty much higher. But once again you can see here it does produce some details because the exposure levels are controlled in that way. So details are good, the dynamic range also looks quite okay. So I would say the night shots are quite okayish for the most part. Now moving on to selfie camera, the 32 megapixel selfie produces pretty good results. Once again, colors are a lot richer. You can see the skin tones are a bit too reddish in nature, but I think for social shares these images definitely would work pretty well. But if you are a person who wants quite natural looking selfies, this might not be the best out there, but it produces good results, especially in terms of portrait selfies and also the regular selfies. So that's the selfie camera on the iQOO Neo 10R. Now next, let's move on to the video recording. Now it can support 4K 60 FPS. There is stabilization available, but stabilization does feel a bit jittery in nature, not the smoothest of transitions in the video recording. So 4K 60 FPS quality looks good. Once again, colors are rich, details are good, and sharpness levels are pretty much good. Now the 1080p sample also looks very much similar, but once again you can see here it's kind of focus hunting and jitteriness in the videos, and this happens both in the 1080p 60 fps as well as 4K 60 fps videos. So these can be fixed via software updates. So this is the 4K 30 fps video taken using the selfie camera of the iQOO Neo 10R. So you can judge yourself how good the clarity of the video is and also the audio output. So this is the 1080p 30 fps footage taken using the selfie camera on the iQOO Neo 10R. So that was a detailed camera review of the iQOO Neo 10R. Now as a whole, the iQOO Neo 10R won't disappoint for casual shooters because the daylight captures came out pretty rich in colors, good sharpness levels and good dynamic range. The portraits are also good. The low light experience is decent and selfies are also quite okayish, I would say. The iQOO Neo 10R is not a camera centric device, it's a performance oriented device, and for that performance there are some compromises in the camera. For casual shooters, the iQOO Neo 10R should be able to produce decent results. So that was my detailed camera review of the iQOO Neo 10R. What do you guys think about the camera on the iQOO Neo 10R? Do let us know your thoughts in the comment section. This is Amra signing off. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in our next video. Have a great day.